This is the only buttercream recipe you're ever going to need. It's quick, it's easy, it's delicious, it's stable, and it's versatile. I'm going to show you how to make it and troubleshoot common issues like air bubbles, graininess, and that yellow tinge buttercream can have. If I had to give a single tip for perfect buttercream, it would be about the butter. It doesn't matter what brand you use, but make sure your butter is at room temperature, because cold buttercream is the easiest way to make lumpy buttercream. Take it out of the fridge 4 hours before you use it, so that it's so soft that you can slice through it easily with a spatula. You'll need powdered sugar or icing sugar for this buttercream. If you sift your sugar and you find that your buttercream is still grainy, try a different brand of sugar, because that might be the problem. Not all sugar is created equal. And even if you regularly use a brand of sugar that's very fine, without lumps, I do recommend taking a few minutes to sift your sugar every time you make buttercream, because if the sugar is exposed to any dampness, it can get lumpy, and that will make lumpy buttercream if you don't sift it. A batch of my 4-minute buttercream will fit into a 3.5 quart mixer, or a double batch will fit in a 6 quart mixer. I should mention that you absolutely don't have to have a stand mixer for this. I've made buttercream several times with a hand mixer, and as long as you use the slowest speed and have a little bit of arm strength, you'll be fine. Put your room temperature butter into the mixing bowl and then add 1/4 of the sugar. It's tempting to dump the whole amount of sugar into the mixing bowl at once, but trust me, you'll regret it if you do. That much light, powdery sugar will make a big mess when you start to mix. So after adding just 1/4 of the sugar, mix that into the butter. Patience is key here. Using the lowest or slowest speed on your mixer will prevent air bubbles in the buttercream, but also it means that the sugar won't fly out of the mixing bowl when you turn it on. It will take less than a minute, maybe 30 seconds, to combine the butter and sugar, but it won't look like silky smooth buttercream yet. Add another 1/4 of the sugar, mix for another minute, another 1/4, and then mix for another minute. Electric mixers are great, but they're not perfect. You'll find that clumps of sugar get stuck at the bottom of the bowl because the paddle or beater doesn't go all the way down to the bottom. So after each addition of sugar, you should scrape down to the bottom of the bowl to scoop that up, so it gets incorporated when you turn the mixer back on. Add the final 1/4 of the sugar and the salt. Salt is an optional ingredient for this, because if you've used salted butter, you can skip it. If you've used unsalted butter, add 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and this brings out the flavour in the buttercream and also cuts the sweetness. The final ingredients are, I think, the most important. First, vanilla, which should be real, not artificial, so the only ingredients should be vanilla and alcohol. And this is what gives buttercream its deliciously rich flavour. Next, and finally, milk or cream. This is how you'll get the perfect consistency of buttercream. Without any liquid, the buttercream will be stiff and difficult to spread and pipe and frost a cake with, and makes the buttercream thinner or runnier, and also makes it much smoother. Now that we think the buttercream is ready, we need to check the consistency. I'm Emily, by the way, and I've been making and using this buttercream to decorate cakes for over 10 years, and I'm so excited to share the recipe with you. I really want you to get the most out of the recipe, mastering making it, flavouring it, tinting it to make hundreds of different colours, getting it super smooth on your cakes, and using it for all sorts of unique cake decorating techniques. So I'm going to give you a discount code for my Basics of Buttercream Master Course, where you'll learn all of that and more, and the link with the discount is in the top of the screen and also in the video description. Okay. Consistency. Buttercream should be quite easy to stir, and when you pull your spatula through the buttercream, it should leave a smooth trail behind. If it's stiffer than this, add more milk or cream a spoonful at a time. Now this is perfect for spreading, piping, frosting, and smoothing. So, you've made your buttercream. Your kitchen is a mess. What next? How you store your buttercream is really important. It needs to be covered with a lid or cling film or saran wrap so it doesn't dry out and crust. When it's covered, you can leave it at room temperature for 2 days, and the sugar will prevent the butter and milk from spoiling. You can refrigerate buttercream for 2 weeks or freeze it for 2 months. When you're ready to use it, let it come to room temperature and then stir it to knock out any air bubbles, and then use it as normal. If you've struggled with air bubbles, condensation, graininess, yellow buttercream that's too stiff or too runny, don't give up. There are easy solutions for all of those problems. Air bubbles are caused by mixing at high speed or with a whisk, because both of these things incorporate lots of air into the buttercream. Always use the lowest speed when you're mixing and use a paddle or beater attachment, not a whisk. Graininess is caused by gritty sugar. If your butter is at room temperature, your buttercream should be perfectly smooth, and if it isn't, try a different brand of icing sugar or powdered sugar. Look for 10x on the label, which means it's been sifted 10 times, so it's very fine. There are a few tricks to take away the yellow tinge of buttercream. The easiest is to beat just the butter for 1 minute at the lowest speed before adding the sugar. This will lighten the butter. You can also add a tiny bit of violet gel to take away the yellow tone. I'll teach you everything I know about buttercream in my Basics of Buttercream Master course on my Cake School. Click the link in the top of the screen or in the video description for a discount. Thanks for watching. Like air grabbles? If you do sift your butter, it's tempting to jump, because if you've used well.